Hi, good morning, everyone. Gab here, market analyst from SmarTrade. So let's have our daily briefing for today, and let's have a quick market recap on yesterday's data. All right, so first things, we have the RBA interest rate decision for Australia. So the previous data was 0.10%, and it's being forecasted around 0.25%. And the release time yesterday was around 12:30 p.m. So the actual data was 0.35%. So obviously they've had their interest rate hike yesterday. So this 0.35%, the RBA, it's actually their first interest rate decision since 2010. And also the Central Bank of Australia said that the economy had proven to be resilient while the inflation had to pick up more quickly. And also, there was also an evidence that their wage growth pick up for a couple of months, and also the RBA interest rate decision helped the Aussie dollar to boost its price yesterday's session. So right here, the AUD/USD price moved for about 64.9 pips or close to 70 pips yesterday, and it ended with a bullish trend, 31.7 pips, 1 hour after the event. And followed by the unemployment rate for Germany for the month of April. So the previous data was 5%, and it's being forecasted same thing at 5%. And the release time yesterday was 3:55 p.m. And the actual data was 5%. So this data for the unemployment rate for Germany was actually neutral, since it did not beat the market forecast, and the actual data remains the same. However, for the euro dollar, right after the unemployment rate data for Germany was released, the price moved in a range of 23.9 pips, and 1 hour after the event, it ended with a bearish trend rather of 16.7 pips. Followed by the unemployment rate for Eurozone for the month of March. So the previous data was 6.9%, and the market forecast at 6.8%. And the release time yesterday was 5 p.m. And the actual data, same thing with the German unemployment rate. The European zone unemployment rate remains neutral, since the actual data was 6.8%. So slightly lower compared to the previous data. For the Euro USD, the data was actually quite similar, or almost similar, right after the release, since the price of the euro dollar remains in the range of 20 pips, and it ended with a 13 pip move, bullish trend, 1 hour after the event. Next things, we have the JOLTS job openings for US for the month of March. So the previous data was 11.34 million, and it's being forecasted slightly lower, around 11.27 million, and the release time yesterday was 10 p.m. during the US session. And the actual data was 11.54 million, so which is better comparing on the market forecast in the previous data as well. But however, after the release of this data, in particular for some currencies, the USD CAD moved sharply. So the USD CAD moved in the range of 44.1 pips, and 1 hour after the event, it ended with a bearish trend of 3.2 pips. And for today's economic data, during the US session, or the Asian session rather, we have the unemployment rate for New Zealand for the first quarter. So the previous data was 3.2%, and it's being forecasted 3.1%. However, the actual data was 3.2%, which is slightly higher compared to the market forecast. So it means this one is not a good data for the New Zealand, since the unemployment rate is higher comparing on the market forecast. So on the Kiwi dollar, the price moved in a range of 12.9 pips, and during the 1 hour after the event, it ended with a bearish trend of 2.1 pips. And also for the European session, we have to focus on a lot of data, in particular to retail sales for Eurozone yearly basis for the month of March. So as you can see here, the previous data was 5%, and it's being forecasted at 1.4%. So let's see what will happen later. Followed by the US session, So we have a lot of data as well. So in particular, we have the ADP, employment change for the month of April, or private sector employment. So the previous data was 455K, and it's being forecasted lower, around 395K. And also you have to focus on the ISM services PMI data for the month of April. So the previous data was 58.3, and it's being forecasted slightly higher, around 58.5. So a lot of data will come out during the US session, so we have to pay attention. And today's key products, we have the euro dollar. So since we have the heavy data for the European session and the US session later, so we have to focus on this product as well. So for the key resistance for today for the euro dollar is 1.05 and 7 and 1.06 and 2. And for the key support level is around the 1.04 and 8 and 1.04 and 4 respectively. Next thing is we have the pound against the dollar. So key support today is we have the 1.24 and 5 and also the 1.24 and 1. And the key resistance level is 1.25 and 5 and also the 1.261 for the extension for the key resistance respectively. And last thing is we have the dollar loonie or the USD CAD. So the key support level is 1.28 and 1 and also the 1.27 and 8 for extension. And for the key resistance, 1.28 and 8 and also the 1.29 and 2 respectively. However, if the price of the USD CAD move below the first support area, then it means that there's a possibility for this one to go down for the second support, which is the 1.27 and 8. All right, thank you everyone for joining our daily briefing. Stay safe and have a great day.